Hello. Monday. Mic test. Hello. Okay, it's working. Someone let me know, Zoop, thank you, that the captions were not working. So they were working last I checked. I went in and fixed some things, so hopefully that is working. But hoping for the best. It's Monday. Yes, it's another week. There was someone that commented on a YouTube video, Auntie K's Tarot. Shout out to you. You have some excellent content that is revolutionary, based on decolonization, taking our power back. Shout out. Go check out her channel. Anyway, it's another day, another stream in fascist America, the United States of America, the nation state that was made from stolen land, ethnic cleansing. Welcome to whatever this is, an attempt at providing education, advocacy, and a little common sense in this digital wasteland. I'm Aubri Devashrayee, for better or worse. Welcome to the people who are here interested in creating a better world, creating community and systems outside of these oppressive ones. Namaste. Here we have robust discussion. We engage in nuance. Imagine that. Have good faith criticism. Call each other's bullshit out. Provide resources, education, because none of us know everything. Shocker. But that doesn't mean it's an excuse to remain ignorant. And, you know, all of us are ignorant in many ways. And I am as well. So this is trying to demystify, destigmatize education, actual education, not through systems of oppression, so that information is readily available. While you are in this space, may you receive what you give. All right. It's Monday. As we do on Mondays, we go over headlines and talk about current events. We also will be continuing to read Macbeth. We are in Act 5 on Scene 2. This is a short scene, but I got started a little bit later today streaming, so that works out fine. And I think I have enough time to play a little more of Disco Elysium. I have been enjoying it. And shout out to Zubador. Go follow, subscribe to them. Incredible streamer, non-binary, anti-fascist streamer that this was a really great recommendation. Thank you. They're the best. Okay. I think I was going to say something else. Oh, Zubador does queer movie nights on Sundays through their Discord, and that is a great time. I wasn't able to join this last time, but I highly recommend. It is a wonderful experience. So if you are interested, go check them out. All right, we're going to be watching headlines, as I've said multiple times now, but then we'll get into more background of Macbeth, because we're reading Macbeth, decolonizing Macbeth, talking about the power of witchcraft, witches, and indigenous identity throughout the entire play. But there is this video by Scotland History Tours. We've watched a few of his videos, and this one is called What Happened to Campbell After the Massacre of Glencoe. So Campbell, meaning the person who was, and family who were complicit in the massacre of Glencoe. And we'll relate that back to the reading and then get into Disco Elysium for a little bit. There we go. Hello, Linton. Welcome. How are things with you? Good to see you. All right. I did have... Oh, forgot to pull up a humorous video already, but there is one that I had in mind. Here we go. Good, just killed the back off. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. I'm hoping that's a good thing. Are you referring to working out? Hit back day, killed the muscles. Okay. That's what I was thinking. Good for you. I feel like when you work out, especially if you haven't for a while, it's like, oh, I didn't even know I had muscles in these places. Or you like try a new activity, like a new type of workout, and you're like, interesting. I didn't know I had body there, but there you go. Okay. This is the humorous video that I wanted to watch. We've watched some stuff by him before. TNBJ. I'll share his YouTube account for you to go check out his stuff, subscribe. Wait, do I have the wrong chat pulled out? Wait, here we go. Why do I do this every time? Okay, popping out my chat. There we go. Success. Da 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 da. All right. Good for you for working out though, Linton. It's hard to do and be consistent about it. I hope you're being nice to yourself as well, pacing yourself, not trying to go too hard, you know? And this is TNBJ, and this is one of the videos that he creates. It's based off of a series of how celebrities dance, and it's very amusing to me. So, oh, I'm gonna make this chat a little bit bigger. There we go. The arm's finally recovered after last Wednesday, ready to kill again. Yeah, it's brutal, you know? It takes so much work to get to a place where you are like, I mean, everyone has different goals, and like what that looks like to everyone is extremely different. But, you know, especially if you are like achieving a lofty goal, it takes so long to get there, and then it takes like 2 days of not doing anything that you're like, wow, I really lost some stuff. It's just wild how that happens so fast. All right, shall we give this a watch? The laugh. I couldn't even do that, seriously. I parted my hair on the other side today and I'm not used to it, so I'll probably be touching it a lot. Supposedly it's good for your hair. No one cares. I'll continue. What's the first? In the book haul arrived today. Yes! Very excited. Which book was this? Which one? He just can't keep it together for this.
Don't.
Also, the no music just adds to it.
Bro, she really thought she was fucking Michael Jackson. She just stood there, like. Wait.
No music.
What's going on with Lil Kim's intro?
That opening is what really got me when I first saw it. Oh, I should make this a little bit bigger. Just a sec. I'm adjusting the chat. I tried something new. There we go. Almost caught up to where I got on the computer already. Oh, nice. Of what you were reading online. About 10 chapters deep. Amazing. Revolutionary Suicide paperback. I love. Incredible. I haven't read that, but I've been wanting to. You'll have to let me know what you think if you're interested now, but especially when you finish. All right. Now that we have some lightheartedness, shall we get into the news? The depressing aspects. I mean, it just is existing in the world. And we have a new anchor. At least this is the first that I've seen of them. So some changes are happening at Democracy Now! Interesting.
Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Anjali Kamath. Amy Goodman will be back later this week.
Hello, Anjali
Iran's
Kamath.
leaders have threatened to
Daisy's
halt
in the
all
house.
oil exports from the Persian Gulf and to treat any nation's support for U.S. sanctions against Iran as an act of war. The threat came ahead of today's announcement by Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent of what the Trump administration is calling an economic D-Day, aimed at completely severing Iran's remaining financial lifelines.
Okay. Of course they're doing this. This is just empire shit, colonizer empire shit, where like everything has to be criminalized. This is my I'm sorry I keep messing around with this chat. This is a new one that I'm trying out. We'll see what I decide eventually. There you go. It is so good. Is It's Def the book I'd recommend a new reader most in terms of leftist literature. Ooh, I love that. Okay. Incredible. Yeah, it's something I've been wanting to read, and I definitely trust your recommendations. So I will be checking it out. When, we will see. I'm like in the middle of like 3 different books, and I always do this. I think this is a bad habit from college. But once I'm done with these, I will add it to the rotation. So here she's talking about Scott Bessent announcing this with the sanctions, and of course this is what colonizers do, empires, when capitalists, what happened when their authority is being threatened, and especially their perceived power on the global stage, but in particular when it affects their money. So this is my Scott Bessent impression.
But the Strait of Hormuz, it's opening very quickly. Yeah, in fact, it's opening very quickly.
That's all I got. I don't want to give him any more attention. Got Norm Finkelstein's 2025 book, Gaza, An Inquest into Martyrdom. Oh, interesting. Martyrdom, Reformer, Revolution, Rosa Luxemburg, and Against Empire. Michael Parenti in the mail. Oh, incredible. That's exciting. Yeah, you have some great options to be sorting through and be digging into. The flag in Kefia should be getting to Portugal within the week. Yes, amazing. I love that. I know when I went to order Kifia that you mentioned after like the restock. It was right after streaming and it was already out. Like right after you announced it, and I was like, damn. But it is a good thing that there is so much support.
This is Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi.
This is a repetitive scenario, from the crippling sanctions imposed during the Obama administration to the maximum pressure campaign during Trump's first administration, and now the latest sanctions. All of these measures have been introduced under different titles, but they represent the same kind of bullying that we have always seen in American policy. In other words, it is the same movie they keep playing over and over again. We know this movie, so we know how to confront and deal with it.
On Sunday, Iran's currency, the rial, sank to a record low against the US dollar. The International Monetary Fund now predicts Iran's economy will contract by nearly 5.5% this year. Fuel prices are surging in Iran.
Yeah, it's really taking a toll on their economy, and that is the point. That's what the protests were about to begin with, and that is because of US empire. It just is a continuation of this colonizing, extremely violent policy against any sort of power that can resist the hegemony in Western Asia, North Africa, these places that are constantly being destabilized. I mean, around the globe this is happening, but especially in these areas to support colonial outposts. I really wanted Inventing Reality by Michael Prenti, but it is not anywhere, at least not under 100 quid. I know books can be so expensive. You'll have another restock next week or the week after. Okay. Yeah. Did you find out with on social media post? I need to follow them if so. I'm just so not on social media platforms outside of YouTube. Does that count as social media? I think so. Maybe it's more content driven. I guess you can call it all content. I don't know. I'm on the mailing list. Thank you. Yeah, I'd really appreciate that. I may have to get the PFLP red keffiyeh in the next one. That would be cool. Just saw someone mention it in a comment section and rushed over there. Oh, okay. Yeah. And that's cool that you're also on the mailing list. I need to sign up for that. Yeah, any way that we can be directly supporting people in Palestine in places that are experiencing imperialist violence.
Something that preceded nationwide protests in 2019 and earlier this year. In Gaza, 2 Palestinian brothers were killed and several others wounded when an Israeli warplane struck a tent sheltering displaced people near Al-Aqsa Hospital earlier today. The attack followed another bloody weekend in Gaza. On Sunday, Israeli forces killed at least 2 Palestinians, including 4-year-old Mohammed Abdul Salam Taha. Separately, a girl was injured by Israeli fire on Sunday in a camp north of Khan Yunis. According to Palestinian officials, Israel has violated the U.S.-brokered so-called ceasefire agreement nearly 4,400 times since it took effect in October. This is Abu Ahmed, a displaced Palestinian who was sheltering close to a building that was blown up by Israel on Sunday.
There is no ceasefire. There is nothing. There is nothing. Our lives are destroyed. Our youth are destroyed. What can we do? We want solutions. We want to live in peace. This does not make sense. This does not make sense. It's true these things are happening to other people, but I am also human. I see these things. People torn into pieces. We die. Our morale is destroyed.
Meanwhile, Israel's government has warned it may further intensify its attacks after several kites landed in an illegal Israeli settlement on Gaza's border. Palestinian officials said the kites were flown by children, were made of paper, and posed no threat. But Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz accused Hamas of launching attacks, calling the use of kites an act of war. Israel's far-right national security.
Oh my God. When just all life is criminalized, that is being oppressed by colonizers. Like, this is what is happening right now and has been happening. And it just is clear necropolitics at play, like we were talking about last week specifically. But like, it's not an accident that this happens, or like where a lot of people want to say like chalk things up to incompetence sometimes, of like, oh, they didn't know that this wasn't a threat. And it's like, no, it's cruelty, it's violence, it's about power. It is not about actually having any sort of fairness, because any sort of domination is not fair. I mean, especially when it comes to nation states imposing domination. There's no such thing as consensual domination when it comes to colonizers and oppressors. Gotta make a new bracelet when the keychain comes. Weave it in like a charm. That will be so cool. I'm so excited for you. And if you're interested, you can always share pictures in the Discord, which I'm not always great about updating. I apologize. I'm trying to be better about that. Yeah, what's going on is so clearly immoral. And I appreciate opening this segment and talking about how many times the ceasefire has been broken, because it's not a ceasefire. It is just unending violence with no consequences. And I know a lot of the time there is a lot of, like, most of the anger is directed towards Israel, and like obviously that makes sense because they're the ones committing these atrocities: genocide, ethnic cleansing, stealing of land. But also we have to remember that this is being done intentionally with the funding that is coming from Western nation states, especially the US, and that it wouldn't be possible without that. So colonizers are acting as they are intending to. It's not as if like Israel has gone rogue. It is a continuation of what they have been doing. IDF so frail, paper cut wouldn't take them out. What an act of war. I know. It's disgusting. It's Israel's classic ceasefire, i.e. you cease, I fire. Yep, exactly. Exactly. And I think a lot of, like, I know there have been some things that have come out like over the past couple of months or so, claiming that like Trump and his administration, they're upset with Netanyahu. I don't think that's the case. I think it's all optics, that he doesn't care what's going on there. He may care that it's eating into some of his base, but they clearly don't care that this is happening. It's like there's a reason why he has talked about completely leveling Gaza and supporting it and having all of these real estate plans. It's just absolutely abhorrent. And that Jared Kushner and Ivanka, well, where Jared Kushner and like Vance went out to like help supposedly like arrange some sort of deal, and that Jared Kushner and Ivanka at the same time are also building in Albania on land that is just, you know, it's colonizer tactics all over again, where the expansionist extraction and dehumanization that is involved of people around these areas where there are these tactics being employed, that it can't be separated from the decimation of ecosystems and the planet, that it just all goes hand in hand. No, that is just theater. Trump wants it flattened for his resorts. Yep, exactly. And I think there have been some people that are like, oh, he's like wanting to, like, they're holding out hope that he will be swayed. And it's like, no, this is, Israel's a colonial outpost, especially for the US, but other Western nations as well. He's really upset with BB on a bi-monthly basis. Yeah, exactly. It's a pattern that is not changing. So what happens when that is the case? It just is all about the optics of it all, especially when it comes to speaking to their own bases of where they're maintaining their power. But, you know, Netanyahu, Satanyahu, Trump, they don't care about having public opinion on their side because they're doing what they're doing. If they did, then they would be acting in a different manner because we can see how people are able to witness the destruction and systemized, continuous violence against Palestinians and anyone really in that area that is under fire, quite literally, with the US empire. I'm convinced they've got these leaks on an automated timer. I mean, I would not be surprised. And also, they don't need to have public opinion to maintain power, these power structures. So this is where we have to call out the limitations of public opinion working to sway the powers that be, that like it can have some effect in certain areas, but most of the time these powers need to be taken on directly with power that meets it. And it comes outside of these systems where we have people organizing workplaces, organizing communities, not sanctioned by the state. Because when we are using these tools of the state to dismantle the state or reform the state, it's like it's acting how it is supposed to. That when people even going in with supposedly good intentions to reform policies that are incredibly anti-human, why there is such limited success, why there is such a lack of bravery and accountability for people when they get into these offices of power, because the system is functioning as it was built to. It's just evil. It's so evil. And this is why we can't count on nation states in general to have any sense of morality, because creating a nation state to begin with is about power and domination and creating an elite, quote unquote, group of people who don't answer to the masses. The tail wagging the dog narrative with the US and Israel serves to obscure the reality of Israel being an outpost of US imperial domination. Yep, exactly, Heltran. And welcome. Glad to have you. Good to see you. How are things with you? Yeah, I think that's really well put. And it's not an accident as well of just like the complete and utter dehumanization that happens with laws that are passed. And these are supposedly democratic systems of what does that even mean to have a sense of democracy, of where we are voting in systems, but what are we voting for, with what limited options, and how does that still continue to perpetuate harmful systems even if we don't vote for certain things? Like, how is it that all of these data centers are being built, why there are flock cameras everywhere, where this genocide is happening, and all of this violence against Iran and Venezuela and Cuba and people of Western Sahara, that it just goes on and on and on. And supposedly we had a say a say in what was going on, which is why I'm extremely skeptical about people who think that the system can be reformed. Even if we do get in people who claim to be leftists, the system is just so anti-democratic, anti-human that there really is not a way, in my mind, to have any sort of morality or distribution of wealth and power in a meaningful way that also is not being controlled by a nation state that is built by colonizers, that like we can't find justice in that way, in the true sense of what we mean by justice. I heard some speculation that the Gary, Indiana power outage was a strategy from the governor for his Iron Nation, Indiana initiative, basically gentrification with a Zionist twist. Yeah, I've heard that as well. And also how, like, so much of what they have been experiencing in Indiana just has not been covered, with outages, with flooding that is happening, that it's not an accident that the worst cases of people experiencing the most harm are happening in areas that are predominantly people of color, that have lower incomes, that this is part of the system of how things function. Like, once again, necropolitics of choosing who is able to exact death and who experiences death and who experiences the most harm, that it is all part of these political agendas that are meant to uphold these power structures that are incredibly imbalanced and not equitable whatsoever. Because if we were actually functioning from a place of equity, it means that everyone would have an equal say in what happens in their lives, and that they can opt out at any point if they do not agree to the conditions that they are experiencing, that everyone has equal opportunity, equal access to resources, and we can't have that when there are hierarchies existing. Trying to incentivize a mass exodus so we can wheel in Israeli businesses without the pesky people in the way. Yeah, it just is evil. And I was watching something earlier. What was I watching? Where someone was like trying to claim once again that it's like, oh, everything that's going on of like the Doge cuts, like we're experiencing stuff because of the Doge cuts, and it's because we have like these stupid people who are in charge, and it's like they want the cover of being stupid. It's cruelty. It's intentional. And like it doesn't mean that they are like there's any sort of merit to them being in these positions, that they have any sort of like qualifications, whatever that even means, to be in these positions. It's like, yeah, they're not the smartest people, but also they're acting in ways like it's not like, oh, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's very intentional. Bourgeois democracy can only ever be a sham. Some limited reforms are possible and good, but ultimately serve to channel popular revolutionary sentiment into non-revolutionary ends. Yes, I completely agree. Where it's like, I do think, because like I vote, I don't necessarily have a whole lot of faith in the system, but largely as a way to help keep back some of these worst inclinations of some politicians. But also we see how people still are engaging in some of these things, even when we do vote. And that like, if we are somehow to like by some miracle, I mean, it would happen because of like organizing, but that there would be so much money funneled into the process as well, and labor and free labor and organizing power to get people elected that could be used in other ways that are more revolutionary to meet the system, where it actually is not being able to control this kind of resistance. It's like, even if we were to able to even if we were able to have a huge amount of, like, a majority of people in these positions of power who were leftists, like, I doubt there would be the abolition of the industrial prison complex, or that people would not be actively engaged in the industrial war complex, where it's like it all is built to be corrupt and to enrich the people who are in these positions of power, that it is so incredibly hard to dismantle it from the inside out. Where you may have some people going into it with that intention, but end up softening a lot of their stances on things, changing their policies, saying one thing on the campaign trail and doing another. It's like, that's just what happens. And like what you were saying, Heltran, is that it is functioning as it was built to, and it diminishes revolutionary action, and that is intentional. It also cannot be ignored, like how I mentioned earlier, and this was part of a video that I was watching with Auntie Kay's Tarot. Highly recommend her content. That she was saying in one video I was watching of, like, imagine if we had had all of that money and organizing power go towards revolution, go towards like information and readiness when it comes to a revolutionary mass movement. And when we think about it that way, it really is sobering to imagine, like, all of this money that people donate to campaigns, that businesses funnel into campaigns, that like these PACs funnel into campaigns, that it could be used in so many other ways. I think multi-party can be worse in that regard in some ways. The Green Party have that illusion on lock, provides a radical option to the electorate. Yeah, where I think there are many people who are under the illusion, and I like that you used that word, the illusion of the two-party system being the problem. And it's like, no, it's the system that's the problem. And the two parties are acting within the system as they have been built to function. And if there was a third party in the US, it might dilute some power from both of those parties in certain ways, but that wouldn't dilute power from the system itself. It would just be diverted. Being a member has been the most disillusioning thing possible. I mean, it's hard too, because of, like, growing up in a very, like, with the propaganda of colonization, by being taught certain things intentionally through a school system, with propaganda existing in media and entertainment and news that is bought by people who are part of the system in the 1%, these capitalist colonizers, that it is very difficult to work on decolonizing from the jump. Of it takes a lot of disillusionment and steps. It's like very similar to like leaving Mormonism, like, as like I used to be Mormon, of like a lot of this kind of went hand in hand, of like you have moments that build up over time that you're like, if you are taught to believe a certain thing about the world, especially growing up in a predominant area where it is very fascist in nature overtly, that it can be difficult to even have access to resources anywhere else. But yeah, it's like even people who claim to be on the left, that it's certainly not revolutionary thought that is being taught, and it's not an accident that all of that is suppressed. Being a member, oh, I already read that. Liberal Zionists still got a tight grip in regular libs too. Yeah, and it all kind of like falls into these respectability politics as well, of what is acceptable ways, like what are acceptable ways to be resisting, what are acceptable ways to go about revolution. And it's like, being a revolutionary is not polite. Resisting in a way that is effective is not polite. And that is the point. because if it's considered polite, then it means it's being approved of and sanctioned by the state, and the state is inherently immoral and anti-human. So then what do we do? It's like if we are already existing in ways of being collateral damage for the state, especially when people experience intersections and marginalization, then what are we doing? Then what are we doing for power? I just realized that the screen is not capturing. I'm going to reset this real quick. I've been experiencing this more recently. I think I probably need to delete stuff that there's too much storage that is being taken up. The younger cohort are fairly based, but I fear they'll be neutered by the party apparatus. Yeah, and that's what's hard, is like that is the intention. I haven't really engaged with much in the party aside from the internal voting, but being a fly on the wall is kind of wild. Hella bigots in the green group chats. Yeah, and that also, that is such a real thing of like, there have been some like organizing things that like originally started out as being more radical that I have been involved with that have been co-opted by liberals, where people are like, there is so much like woke scolding, and not in the way of like everyone should be working towards wokeness, you know, of like what the original sentiment of what that means before it was trying to be defined by racist capitalists and colonizers, of like actually being awake to the circumstances of the world, that like people could be very could be harsher towards people who are wanting to engage in more militant ways of resistance than they would to oppressors. And that is extremely liberal behavior, to be like, oh, like you are more of a problem than our oppressors. That's like, how does that make sense? And that just goes to show like how deep this propaganda is, that like it also cannot be separated a lot of the time from white supremacy and various forms of supremacy, of ethno-religious racial supremacy in other ways, like talking about India and caste, and using religion and ethnicity as a way to uphold caste and to make it so that only a very few amount of people, like in the ruling class, the 1%, get to benefit from all of the atrocities that are happening. We got fascist cells training in public parks, and motherfuckers want to vote our way out. I know. It really is disillusioning if you grew up thinking there was any sort of sense of democracy, and a lot of the time that can come with privilege or proximity to privilege in a lot of ways, or growing up in areas where, like I was saying before, like the overall sentiments are just very colonized, or growing up around people with colonized minds where you're like, oh, here are these ideals of what I believe this nation state to be, or what it means to have a particular kind of identity, and how this is a way to control people's minds. And that like once we start decolonizing, it is really difficult to maintain that sense of comfort. And that is why a lot of the time people do not try. I mean, sometimes people don't know what they don't know, but it's very difficult for people to have to reckon with their worldview. And I mean, that's something we should all be engaging with, like each and every day, of trying to decolonize, that like it's not something that ever ends until we have these nation states be dismantled, and also the forms of bigotry and hate that they are upholding, but that it also requires a decolonization of our minds continually. Fascist cells known to the police for that matter, but we all know they won't intervene against their buddies. Yeah, exactly, because they're probably, like, part of these cells, you know? And that has been a thing as long as these nation states have existed, of being more on the side of upholding the power structure and the people who benefit from the status quo, or who are wanting to push the status quo to make the system even more aggressive, than to any sort of sense of equality. He also, Ben Gavir said the other day that he wants 30 to 40 Palestinians killed every day. That is just explicitly necropolitics, as we have been talking about, as many people have been talking about for a long time. That it is not just Netanyahu that is the problem, that there is a system that exists that has become increasingly more radicalized over time, but that also doesn't mean that it hasn't been extremely oppressive and violent since the beginning. That, like, that is what colonization is. It's just that now they're being a little more, I guess not even now, it's just that people are noticing more that they are being very upfront about it. Great journalist over here. Incredible. Oh, is the audio not working? Okay. Thank you for letting me know. I think, yeah, this happens when, like, the storage
where he was selling
too full.
Palestinian.
Okay. Yeah, I need to go in and delete a lot of things. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I love this. And oh, this food looks so good. Wow. Let's watch this after the headlines. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for letting me know about that.
Aimed at easing tensions following repeated Israeli attacks, including airstrikes on a major Syrian Air Force airbase. They were the first talks between the two countries in several months, coming after Israel on Saturday struck a civilian vehicle on the outskirts of Damascus. Israel said it had targeted a, quote, terrorist in the deadly drone strike, which left several bystanders wounded. This comes as Israel continues to occupy Syria's Golan Heights, which it seized in the 1967 war, as well as more territory in southwest Syria it seized after the fall of Bashar al-Assad. In Canada, Prime Minister Mark Carney has announced retaliatory tariffs on U.S. imports after talks collapsed without a deal on Friday. On Saturday, the U.S. slapped 50% tariffs on around $20 billion worth of imports from Canada.
The colonizers are fighting. This is what I see. Because I think there's a very liberal inclination to be like, good for Canada. They should retaliate. And it's like, yeah, I guess there is that, but also, like, that's not fixing anything. It's like all of us are having to pay the price, quite literally. I've been getting Yemeni food so often recently. Oh, that's amazing. We don't have Yemeni food around here, at least that I know of. But from what I've seen, it looks incredible.
Response, Carney announced tariffs on $20 billion of U.S. products beginning on September 8th. Carney spoke to reporters on Saturday.
Why does it feel like today Mark Carney is going to war? Trade war. The tone.
Because we were attacked.
He loved that. Did you see that? He was so pleased with that. He's like, yeah, I'm tough. While he's like also supporting the genocide.
Like, you're at war when you get attacked. We got attacked. The U.S. put 50%. We waited until the United States decided to actually implement these so-called 338 tariffs. That's fine.
We'll have more on the U.S.-Canada trade war after headlines when we'll speak with Avi Lewis, the leader of the New Democratic Party in Canada, and Lori Wallach of the American Economic Liberties Project. In New York, a federal judge has struck down a Trump administration ban on issuing visas to immigrants from 75 countries. When the policy was enacted in January, the State Department claimed, without evidence, that people from those nations are likely to receive public benefits after arriving in the U.S. Among the countries targeted were Afghanistan, Brazil, the Democratic Republic of Congo, Iran, Iraq, Nigeria, Somalia, Sudan, and Yemen. In her ruling, U.S. District Judge...
Is that any accident? The places that are being decimated by imperialist violence, extraction, this capitalist colonizer greed? I don't think so.
Judge Jeanette Vargas said Trump's measure was, quote, patently unlawful and violated federal immigration law by discriminating on the basis of nationality.
Yeah.
In Texas, calls are mounting to shut down the South Texas Family Residential Center in Dilley, where it's estimated more than 100 children are being detained by ICE. This comes after a 5-year-old boy, identified as Liam Thadeo, and his father were taken by ICE on their way to a child's soccer game in Austin last week. Journalist Lidia Terrazas of Univision posted a video on social media showing Liam crying and his father handcuffed as they're escorted into a vehicle. The arrest happened just days before Liam was set to start kindergarten. This is Texas Democratic Congressmember Greg Casar.
ICE just arrested a 5-year-old boy on his way to a soccer game in my home city of Austin, Texas. His name, just like the name of the little boy from Minnesota, is Liam. And Liam should be starting kindergarten this week. But instead, he's sitting in a trailer prison right now in Dilley, Texas.
Texas Democratic Congressmember Joaquin Castro said ICE denied his request to visit Liam and his father at the ICE camp. Castro said afterwards, quote, his detention is another devastating example of why Dilley must be shut down and why our government must end the detention of children and families. I have seen firsthand the conditions that children and families are being subjected to at Dilley, and no child should be held there. Dilley is run by the for-profit prison company Core Civic. More than 160
For-profit prison. Slavery. That's what it is. And these are concentration camps. And we have these quotes from representatives who seem like they may disagree with this, but despite them disagreeing, is there any sort of substantial way to end what is going on? Of going through the system, through all of these approvals, of whipping votes and all this bullshit, when there are kids being imprisoned, when people are being kidnapped and trafficked to these concentration camps. And this is a continuation of the ethnic cleansing and colonization of Turtle Island. That, like, it has to be framed in that way. Because, like, when we see this happen, it's like, how is this any different from kids being taken from families and being sent to boarding schools, or with internment camps that are happening? It's like, it's all the same thing. It's all about creating fear and to create hierarchies of human dignity. Yeah, the Democrats don't actually care about these concentration camps. They're using the imprisoned children as political tokens. Yep, I completely agree. Welcome, 8-Bit. Glad to have you. How are things with you? I know we're talking about some heavy things, but, you know, it is headlines. And also, like, this is just wrong. It's wrong, and it's so frustrating to see all of the lip service being paid by saying that people care, and when there are people who claim to be upset about ICE and what is going on, but then also are wanting to stymie any sort of like militant resistance that is more meaningful, because like fascists don't just give up power. It often takes power meeting power in a significant way where they have to be afraid. I've built myself to be able to look at these things. It's sickening though. Yeah, and that's the thing, is like just having to be aware of what is going on, of like, yep, this is what occurs. We kidnapped those children with the right paperwork. This is a travesty. Yeah, exactly. Where, yeah, and it's like, what does it all even mean? And it just goes back to wanting to create these racial, ethnic, religious hierarchies and justify the existing system. And it just is far too commonplace. And yeah, it, like what you were saying, 8-bit, of people are wanting to run on these issues. They don't care. And even if it does maybe upset them at times, it's not enough to be using this power in a way that is mobilizing people against the system, because they're part of the system. And this is why it is so difficult to have any sort of substantial change come from people who are actively benefiting from their position in the system.
60 people have been deported to Haiti as the Trump administration begins to round up immigrants following the end of TPS, temporary protected status. It was the first deportation flight to Haiti after the Supreme Court greenlit the Trump administration's termination of TPS for an estimated 350,000 Haitians. The plane landed.
This is just the colonizer playbook. Let's go into a place, let's steal the land, oppress people, engage in ethnic cleansing and genocide, enslave people, traffic people, and then if they get too much power, there's too much resistance that is happening in a place, or they kick out a colonizer at some point. It is destabilized enough to have pawns put in place, and then continuously destabilized to justify the oppression and continued exploitation and extraction, and then to be like, oh, now we have immigrants, now we can coming to this place, and like, who is considered an immigrant, that this can't be separated from racialized, systemized identity in hierarchy, creating this through legislation, through policy that is so-called democratic, and that people are used as pawns. That, like, once again, the necropolitics of engaging in all of this disgusting violence, like in places that are these colonial outposts, and destabilizing them enough to use the people who are then coming back to the heart of empire to be using it as a way to get into office and positions of power, and humans are paying the price. It's empty rhetoric from the system's mascots, feigning compassion for the victims of that system while doing nothing of substance to actually address it. Capitalism with a human face. Yep. I think that's a great way of saying that too. In the UK, we had the Windrush generation. Basically, we lured people in from colonies under the guise of citizenship. Used their labor to rebuild after World War II, and then kicked and kicked them out when they got too old to be useful to the system. Yeah, especially when it comes to people in the British colonies, in particular, the Indian subcontinent, Desi people in the Caribbean, and then wanting cheap labor, not wanting to provide humane conditions for people because that was never the point, and then to demonize people for being there in the first place when they were the ones to colonize, when they were the ones to encourage people to come over in the first place, of like human beings are just shuffled around the board and there is such utter devastation, which is why it's all incredibly anti-human. We can't be looking to the systems for any sort of morality.
Landed in the northern Haitian city of Cap Haitien Thursday, the country's main international airport in Port-au-Prince has been deemed too dangerous due to gang violence and growing political instability. Many of those deported last week were TPS holders and had been living and working in the U.S. since 2010. In related news, a U.S. Navy sailor who is on his 9th month of deployment aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln said his father has been detained by ICE. Joshua Aviles said he'd received a call this weekend notifying him of his father's arrest. Luis Manuel Aviles was taken into custody during a traffic stop in Key West, Florida. His wife said he's a handyman with a valid U.S. work permit. Aviles is originally from Nicaragua and has lived in the U.S. for nearly 20 years. His son Joshua said on social media, quote, "This is heartbreaking for me. I don't know how I can mentally continue working 12-plus-hour days, knowing that my dad is somewhere, possibly being treated like a criminal. My dad's only crime was coming to this country to give my siblings and me a better life." Tyson Foods, the largest...
Yeah, and this has been happening to members of the military and their families, sometimes military members themselves, of them being hunted by ICE and kidnapped by ICE, and a lot of family members where it's like, yeah, this is what happens. And it's really hard to have a sense of empathy for people who are colonizer pawns, who are engaging in such incredible amounts of violence when it comes to joining the military in any sort of capacity. It's like, we can acknowledge that that people are drawn in for money, that poverty, that these are conditions that are imposed on people, that there is more incentive to join the military, especially when it comes to getting access to education. But like, it's just all part of this system that doesn't view them as human to begin with. That's when you start flushing shirts down the toilet of the ship. Yup. I know, and apparently things are really bleak on that ship, and it really is hard to have any sort of sense of empathy for people there. It's like, this is what, like, you can expect these kinds of conditions really in any sort of, like, anything that is being driven, functioning through the state, being funded through the state, that, like, if you are a person that is there and being a pawn, that you will be treated in a dehumanizing manner and that you will be discarded. They have army ads on loop in the gym. Ugh. Ew. That's also not surprising. As I always say, we can figure out subsidized education as long as you sell your body to the war machine. Yep. Exactly. Yep. It's all incredibly intentional.
Meatpacking and processing company in the U.S. has shuttered 2 of its facilities in Illinois and Utah, laying off more than 3,000 workers. The company said in a release earlier this month that it'd be closing its Jocelyn, Illinois and Eagle Mountain, Utah facilities, claiming, quote, one of the most historic cattle shortages the country has ever experienced.
I mean, in Utah, that's where I'm located. Eagle Mountain is a few years ago, there was like this announcement of like Eagle Mountain is the widest city in the United States. That's like, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing for all of you and disgusting that you would even be proud of that shit. But it's now also being subject to these work shortages and to data centers being built around there where there's all of this land that the state owns that should be given back to indigenous tribes that is being sold to investors in AI, and that these data centers all around the globe are making it so that cattle and livestock, just animals in general, are suffering, like including us humans as animals, but that cattle, that there are all of these stillbirths happening. It just is like the whole process is just so vile of like, okay, so we're going to have these cows be impregnated as part of profit, and then they have to give birth, all of this like forced breeding, and that this also happens to human beings with legislation and policy of like that. It's just making it so that there is hardly any food around too, and that like the earth is being so utterly extracted that they want to have these easy fixes of like having like nitrogen be put into the soil. And it's like, you know what would help the soil is if like we stopped extracting. If it wasn't just constantly used over and over and over again. That is very much a hallmark of settler colonialism and ideas of growing food and not having that be ethical or sustainable, because it's not about that to begin with. The ad said something like, in the army, we know how to have fun. Fun like what? Obliterating civilians in their homes? Ew! What the fuck? I'm still dumbfounded that this liberal tried to tell me, we have no data centers in the UK. What? Meanwhile, we use 6.6 million liters of water daily on data centers. Yeah. It's like, and it's not just AI data centers. Like, to be clear, there are other data centers that are using up a ton of resources, but people are paying attention more because of AI, because of the existential crisis that it is putting us all in. But it's like, this is what capitalist colonialism is. And it is cannibalistic. It is suicidal in nature. It is not about sustainability, because if it was about sustainability, that means that there would have to be some sort of giving back, whether that is to the land, to human beings, but it's about consuming as much as possible without any sort of restraint. And of course, that's going to lead to what we are experiencing now and what we will be experiencing when it goes unchecked. And by 2030, it is projected to be between 20 to 40 million liters daily. Ugh. Yeah, and then also how like these data centers are being used as a way to surveil us, to engage in the industrial war complex, and to be committing all of these violent atrocities abroad and domestically. And 65% of that 6.6 million is only used only by 6 facilities. Yeah, and then they're like trying to tell us in the working class, like,
well, maybe if people like bought less coffee and like didn't eat out as much then and didn't engage in as many hobbies, then they would have enough money.
That's like the continuous story that is told to us, but it is so fucking condescending. And I mean, the condescension has existed. It just is like,
oh, you're so dumb, you little ants. Like, you can't possibly understand what we are engaging in.
And it's like, yeah, the people who are in these positions of power do not have a conscience. It is not for that. It is about consolidation.
The reason for the move. About 2,500 Tyson employees were impacted in Illinois alone due to the sudden closure of the plant. Workers and supporters held a rally in Jocelyn Friday in protest of the mass layoffs. They're demanding the facility be reopened, as well as 6 months of full compensation and benefits for workers who've been left jobless. This comes as Tyson Foods CEO and President Donnie King made over $34 million in 2025, according to the Securities and Exchange Commission. In Northwest Indiana,
aren't they also the same place where the company that has mainly had all of these outbreaks with foodborne illnesses? Like, that's not an accident. Hello, Spongy. Welcome. How are things with you? Glad to have you. We're going over headlines, so it's naturally depressing, enraging, but that's the world we're living in. Where it's like, this is what happens when you have capitalist colonizers, especially in the heart of empire, where they're like, oh, we're losing money because of people not buying our food as much because we have all of these illnesses. Heaven forbid we actually employ any sort of oversight that makes it so things are healthier. We're losing money, so that means we have to fire people. We have to do it en masse. Like, oh, yep, because that makes sense. Like, it just is about maintaining the power without any sort of sense of accountability. I am, as always, braced. Okay. Just wanted to warn you. Glad to have you. Was driving the other day, looked to my right. I see the hill that I used to sled on. Hasn't seen snow much since I was a kid, and now entirely charred, burnt to a crisp. It is so sad. It's like growing up in Utah, where Utah used to be known for snow. Like, at one point, like on the license plates, it would say the greatest snow on earth, which is like, okay, so we're like ranking snow then, I guess. Whatever that means, just for rich people to come and like flex on their like ski trips and be annoying, but okay. It's like, we had to learn growing up how to drive in the snow. That was very necessary. Otherwise, you were a huge hazard on the road. And many people were, and still are. But like, we haven't had any sort of snowfall that has stuck for more than a day in years. And it really is frightening, because it's like, growing up, even looking at pictures, it's like, oh, around the age of like 10, or like even when I was younger, of like having like 6 feet of snow around and like going sledding or whatever. And it's like, this has not happened by accident, and it's happened rapidly. It is wild seeing, especially people in the boomer generation, not to say like all boomers are a problem, but like, I think many are, or at least how they've like hoarded assets, even though they still are existing in capitalism that doesn't view them as human beings, where there's so much, especially in Utah, like climate change denial, and them realizing that the world is getting hotter, that like snow isn't sticking anymore, but they want to attribute it to being like, oh yeah, the like things change on Earth. Like, we had an ice age and things are getting warm. So it's like, that's what the justification is now. And it's like, okay, so you don't care enough that like all of your offspring, because we're in Utah, the like hundreds of offspring you have. I mean, I'm kidding, but also like not really. It's like, you don't care. All you care about is like doing your like religious duty a lot of the time to like multiply and replenish the earth so that it's peopled, but then you don't have any sort of responsibility for like their quality of life, or feeling like that something has to be done to have a continuation of life in general, not just human life. It just is wild, the cognitive dissonance, but also a crowd that is very used to cognitive dissonance. So is that surprising? Not really. Not to say that all boomers are a problem, but all boomers are a problem. All the based ones exude youth. They can get the honorary Zillennial badge. Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to like lump people into categories, but it's really difficult, especially when it comes to white boomers in the US in particular, where they were able to benefit from like New Deal policies that were segregated, that were barred specifically from Black people, from many people of color, and that they don't have to acknowledge that, or they don't want to acknowledge that because we don't learn about history. Imagine that, like learning about the world and events. Crazy, I know. Like who would imagine that? We learn about things that exist and have existed, but also using that position of privilege to acquire so much wealth where they're like, my partner and I were watching the other day, what show is it? Like Unpackaged or something like that, where you learn about foods and like how they're made, which is like a scary business, especially in the US. But there was one lady, it was like a locally owned business. It was a donut shop. And she was like, my dad, what was it? It was like some number that I was like, I hate everything. She was like, my dad bought this place for $50. I think that's what it was. And I was like, he bought this whole business for $50. And she's like, I haven't come in here in years. And she's like making all of the money off of like the workers that she's like barely talked to the whole time. And I'm like, this is capitalism. And people want to believe that like if they quite literally buy into it, that they are winning, that they are living the American dream, like not caring that like their literal children are suffering. It's like it's not meant to enhance a capacity for empathy. The capitalist class is only accountable to themselves, but in those relations they are trapped unless they're willing to relinquish their power. All of this is absolutely all of these people doing everything they can holding on to their power. Yeah, it is true. It is true. And even when we have people like how we were just talking about boomers of like they aren't technically capitalists, like part of the capitalist class, like the 1%, it's like where there is so much propaganda of like the American dream or wherever you are in the world of feeling like as long as you have some breadcrumbs, then it means that we are doing okay. We need a moment of levity for after the headlines. Okay. Thank you. We'll do that. And thank you for the redemption of Sassy Stars. I need to put a new community goal. I think the new one is going to be working towards me wearing my first handlebar mustache. That does feel very conservative, though. Is there a way to reclaim that? I think the mullet has kind of been reclaimed by the queers. Perhaps. Perchance. If drag kings are doing it, I think we can take it back.
Thousands of homes remain without power nearly 2 weeks after high winds and torrential rain
I'm
knocked
working
down
hard every
trees
day
and
to
power
reclaim
lines.
the mullet. Incredible. You always remember your first handlebar mustache. I mean, I'm looking forward to
Leaving
it.
behind flooded basements and roads. More than a third of
We'll
a million
document it.
homes and businesses were affected by the storm. This
Big
is
moment of
Desmond
levity.
Pompey,
Thank
a
you.
resident of hard-hit Gary,
appreciate it.
Indiana, where over 1 in 3 residents lived in poverty even before the disaster.
And these are all the things that people take for granted. The basic things as far as like power, taking a shower, flushing your toilet, anything of that nature like that. So we really under siege, and I hope they just take care of the situation.
And a private arbitrator has ordered the Washington Post to rehire the opinion columnist Karen Attiah with back pay. Attiah was fired last fall over comments.
I mean, we only got a little bit of what was going on in Gary, Indiana, and just Indiana at large of like, we need more coverage on this. That's been the problem. Australians been putting that work in reclaiming the mullet. I mean, that too.
She made about the death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Her termination came as the Washington Post laid off more than 300 journalists, dismantling
she's getting
its
her job
sports,
back?
local news, and international coverage, all under the ownership of billionaire Amazon founder Jeff Bezos. That followed Amazon's $1 million donation to President Trump's inaugural fund. Karen Athiya spoke to Democracy Now! In February.
The reason why this is an international news story, I think the Washington Post stands for a lot more than just a media company. It stands for a lot more than even just journalism, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
For a lot of people around the world, they're looking at the Washington Post as a proxy and a bellwether for what's happening to America and democracy.
And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report. I'm Anjali Kamath. Amy Goodman will be back later this week.
Thanks for watching Democracy Now! On YouTube.
It's cool to see some new faces at Democracy
to make sure
Now!
you never miss a video. And for more of our audience-supported journalism, go to democracynow.org, where you can download our news app, sign up for our newsletter, subscribe to the daily podcast, and so much more.
All right, for our moment of levity. What was I saying? Levity?
Fail Peter. Spider-Man worked to maintain failing society and not work to improve infrastructure. Spider-Man stopped villain, but Spider-Man
That's
not
supposed to be the
stop
Hulk?
system that make villain. Hulk smash infrastructure.
You know, I support the Hulk smashing. Did you all see, I didn't even know who this was before, Jake Lang, how he got punched by Spider-Man. I like that. We need to punch more racists. I saw clips of this woman having to walk from the car to the house with the gun ready, cut people's basically needs, then cut the power, breeding ground for people resorting to crime to eat. Yeah, and then also it being highly politicized to begin with, of diverting funds, of not offering any sort of resources and care because they want to keep people oppressed, and then also blame people for their own oppression. Spider-Man stop villain, but Spider-Man not stop system that create villain. I know. That is good. This is Mike McChesney. Okay. I haven't heard of them. Lore accurate Mark Ruffalo. Palantir Parker chose his side. Yep. I saw something, was it yesterday, that said that the newest Spider-Man used a lot of AI, and they were like, AI was used to develop the cityscape of New York. And it's like, you know what else could help develop the cityscape of New York? The cityscape of New York. It already exists. Imagine that. And it's been in so many fucking movies. Like, you don't have any sort of resources to be going off of. But yeah, why we should always be questioning how, why certain kinds of art, especially these like major motion pictures that are funded by the capitalist class and through all of these lobbies as well, being invested in the industrial war complex, and how there is so much Zionism that is embedded in the creation of this by funding the Israeli genocide. It just is so interconnected with it all that it's like, in my mind, I've not really been like a huge superhero person, and I think part of it might be is that I've kind of seen superheroes as cops. Like, maybe not in that language growing up, but being like, what makes them feel like, oh, I'm gonna choose who is like good and evil or whatever. I don't know. New York is right there. Get a drone up. Yeah, it's like, get a drone up for like 5 minutes. I'm a Virgo is the only superhero IP I'll consume. I mean, that is a good show. I really enjoyed that show. Oh, another as we're talking about like recommendations for shows and stuff, the show P-Valley, I had not seen that before. I really enjoyed that show. Okay. Shall we watch... Is The Purge coming? So shared by you, Linton, and Ani says more. Is the creator.
Indian food, so
if the
I
audio
have
works. Okay.
Makluba. So that's rice, chicken, and vegetables. So I have a Palestinian dinner tonight, and the restaurant that he runs is called Hiba, and it's in Wood Street in Walthamstow, in case you wanted to go down.
I love this cat.
That is so good. And as you can tell,
so
Kinzo is hanging
delicious.
around because I have chicken on
Yeah.
my plate. And every time I have chicken on my plate, he thinks if he behaves himself, I will reward him.
Yep. Closing in.
Excuse me. Don't even think about it. He's actually quite well behaved. Look. Anyway, let's get back to the Purge. So the Patriots...
Watching so intently.
I hate using that term, but the Patriots have been mobilising. They're creating little terror cells in different parts of the UK. They're holding protests all over the UK. A few days ago, they were in Bristol, then they were in Thanet, now they're in Thetford, in Norfolk. They're really getting around, probably because most of them don't have a job. I absolutely love makluba. I love the way they flip it over. If you haven't seen that done, you have to. They literally bring the rice dish out and go, psh. Anyway, back to the Patriots. So they've been organising. They've been training in the park. There's things called active clubs. They're not just in the UK, they're all over Europe, where it's basically cells of like, let's say 10 to 50, I think it was 10 to 30 men can be in a cell. And they get together, they exercise, they go around the park, they do all of that. And in the movie The Purge, there's a particular day when everybody's allowed to do whatever they want. They can kill whoever they want. You've seen the movie. It's violent. Like, imagine if you said to human beings, you can do whatever you want. You can kill whoever you want. There'll be no repercussions. Of course it would be like that movie. You know what? I feel really bad. Wait, watch this. You don't want the chicken? Take the chicken. Yeah, it's a nice chicken. Tell me if he's not the cutest. Nablus doesn't like chicken, that's why you can't see him. So I guess every time I have chicken, you're going to have to deal with Kinza. No, that's enough for now. So in the movie, there's no repercussions for what you do. So why are they calling this upcoming thing that they're going to do The Purge? You've got people like BSP, which is British Security Patrol. You have Patriots Platform, Unite the Kingdom, all of these different groups. You've got Ryan Ferguson, you've got little Tommy Ten Shekels. So you've got all the little minions as well. And they're literally all over my social media. So that means they're all over the social media of impressionable young white men. And they're flocking to join these groups. And they're paying to join these groups. And they seem to be under the impression that they're going to be able to attack migrants, brown and black people, Muslim people. They seem to be under the impression that's going to happen. No, hang on. He's so well behaved. Yeah. He's blind. Not my thumb. Good boy. So
the captions are not captioning, but you know, anything that's falling outside of a particular type of American dialect is not usually captured. So
this guy that I saw earlier, he was literally foaming at the mouth to do the purge. Now, it's supposed to unite Ireland and England. And it's supposed to be patriots of the United Kingdom basically taking their country back. Now, the police are aware of this. In one of the posts I saw today, they don't care. Somebody added the Metropolitan Police and it's still up. So the Metropolitan Police, the Yorkshire Police, whatever area they're in, they are seeing these posts. They are fully aware that these groups are forming. Now, could you imagine if there was cells of 10 to 30 Muslim men planning something called the Purge? Like, what do you think would happen? Armed police would be kicking down their doors.
Yeah, exactly.
But these patriots are allowed to keep posting online. They're allowed to keep fanning the flames of hatred. I saw a wannabe content creator today. Basically, he started making content because he lives in Thetford and Norfolk. And he's so excited. They went outside a migrant's home and the migrant came to his door and looked, you know, like, you know, when you just come out of your front door and you don't go very far. And they were literally like, oh, there he is. Go back to your car. Like, they're foaming at the mouth and they're filming it and they're getting more and more violent.
I heard you want your country back. Hello, Zoop. Welcome. Thought I had an ad blocker. Ooh, this is a good one. Okay, we'll listen to that after this. Heard you want your country back. Shut the fuck up. Yeah.
The purge will happen. You do know that.
Doing the Aubrey chatter thing of just
there will be a night
in the chat, and then I'm like, okay.
The streets of a particular town or city where something has happened, or
welcome.
there's a
Glad to
migrant
have
center
you.
being based, any excuse, and they will run through that town and they will do the purge. How many times have we seen them all congregate in one city and take it over, one town, and just take it over and run amok through the streets? And to be honest, the police do the bare minimum. They just literally stand there, get a few rocks hurled at them, maybe make 1 or 2 arrests, and then they go home because these are their buddies. The police aren't going to stop them. They've tried to go to people's houses. They've tried to drag people out of the house. They've broken windows. They've done these things. They've set homes on fire. So inevitably, one day, when the purge actually does happen, whatever city or town that is, anyone who's not white British in that town is going to be in danger. Doesn't matter if you're a family, doesn't matter if you came here legally. If you're in that town where they decide to do the purge, they could come to your doors. So I just wanted to put it on record today. I wanted to have this conversation, explain to you guys. The purge is not just a gimmick. It's not just a joke. If they could kill us, they would kill us. I don't mean to mince my words. I'm not saying every English person, please, please, please do not twist my words. I'm talking about the far-right racists that use terminology like the purge, who foam at the mouth when they see a migrant, who have tried to burn down homes and drag people out. Those are the people I'm talking about. So the purge is coming. I don't know when it's going to come. They're not going to tell us, are they? But I have a feeling it's coming very, very soon. I have a feeling within the next few weeks, the next few months, we're going to see a situation that will shock us. There will be a purge-like situation. Whether that involves the death of a black, brown, or Muslim person, whether that involves them running amok through a town and dragging people out of their homes and beating them. It's coming. It's actually coming. And I don't know how many times I have to keep telling you guys, how many times we have to have this conversation. Yesterday over dinner, we had the same conversation. But the thing is, I'm okay to have this conversation with you every day. I'm okay to talk to you about this every day because I don't think you understand. Did you see them in Bristol? Did you? Did you see Ryan Ferguson? And it's not just the Islamics, it's not just the browns, it's not just the blacks, the trans, the gays, the disabled, anyone and everyone that doesn't fit their Nazi agenda. Because that's what it is.
Yeah, she stole the words out of my mouth. I was like, it's not, you know, it's horrible of the racial supremacy that they're engaging in. It's abominable and disgusting, but it's not limited to race. It's limited to these other forms of hierarchy as well. Because it's about what they consider to be an in-group and everyone else is othered. Wish I was getting paid to eat and talk. I know.
It's Nazism. I was a whole piece of garlic. I'm so sorry.
Looks like such good food too.
So like I said, if you thought the movie was bad, if you thought watching Purge with your friends with a bucket of popcorn was scary, it's coming to a street near you. And the sooner you realize that, the better. So yeah, call this the trailer. The movie's coming. Anyway, make sure to hit the subscribe button because I want to...
Hello, P-Gap. You asked for some sassy fan work? Ooh. That's my sassy fan work for today. Welcome. Glad to have you. Thank you for the redemption. I'm not sure YouTube is paying much. No, it is true. YouTube doesn't really. And I guess also, like, I guess you could call that streaming, being paid to eat and talk and engage in media. I'm glad they were able to get a job with the Canary. They were forced out of their NHS job by the Zionists. Oh, really? I didn't know that.
To have more dinners together. I want us to discuss the important things that are happening in the world because that's what we do. We sit around the dinner table or we have a cup of chai and we talk, we communicate, we understand, we warn each other, we give each other advice. That's what we do as a community. So I want you to make sure that we can sit down and have these conversations and I can keep hammering into you. Something bad is going to happen really soon. And I'm scared. I'm not scared for myself. I'm scared for everybody. I'm worried. And I don't know if it's something that we're going to be able to come back from as a nation. And I blame the government. I blame the police. I blame the rich. I blame the elite. I blame the Epstein classes for causing this distraction. So working class white people that have been done over by the system, they're literally being distracted by us. They've created us as the enemy so they can get away with robbing them over and over again. And people have fallen for it. People are being led by racists and instigators and people that are here for a grift. They're being led down a path that will destroy this country. So yeah, join me for dinner. I'm sure it's not always going to be doom and gloom. Well, actually, maybe it is. But at least it's going to be honest. And it's probably a conversation you won't have anywhere else. So hit the follow button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below. Have you heard about The Purge? And how does it make you feel?
To be honest, I've never seen that movie, but I probably should. You know, it's not an isolated thing as well of this happening in the UK, happening in the US, that things are escalating and it's happening very quickly. Like over the weekend, my partner and I were in a place that was a little more rural, and someone was like, and I was more androgynous presenting, and someone was very bold in how they were behaving towards me. And normally when my partner is around someone who is more like physically imposing than I am, they're not as likely to be like as bold. And so it's like, yeah, I mean, I can tell you things like escalate in my own life, or like many of us who experience marginalization of like, yeah, things are getting worse. And it's hard having these conversations if people are not willing to see it. So I think it's good that it's being talked about. Hello, Water. Welcome. Water activated. Glad to have you. How are things with you? All right. Let's play this that you submitted, Zoop. Bob Vylan. Wonderful artist. You're telling me it's dangerous to be androgynous in public? I know. Shocking. Being too attractive in public. Oh, that too. Maybe that was the problem.
Shut the fuck up. I heard you want your country back.
I mean, especially if people are dealing with their own shit and not having to come to terms with their queerness and such. Yeah, that's a thing too.
Got the gammons on retreat and their blood boils over when we speak, so let it be heard. We ain't wasting a scrap when we eat, and when we come for it, then we're coming to keep. I heard you want your country back. Ha! Shut the fuck up. I heard you want your country back. You can't have that. I heard you want your country back. Ha! Shut the fuck up. I heard you want your country back. Well shit, me too.
Yeah.
I heard you want your country back. Shut the fuck up. I heard you want your country back. You can't have that. The only place I know, stolen right under my nose.
Exactly.
Scum,
exactly.
Trying to lay claim to a land that ain't theirs anyway. Wait, what did you say? I heard you want your country back. Ha! Shut the fuck up. I heard you want your country back. You can't have that. I heard you want your
Why it redirected to a BTS page? That's not what I was looking at. Weird.
Well shit, me too.
They're like, this is too revolutionary, sorry. Well,
the quickest way from a billion point.
Do I just not have the ad blocker on Google? Look at me experiencing more technical difficulties. That was a great recommendation. Thank you. All right. Shall we read a little bit of Shakespeare and then I'll play a little bit of Disco Elysium? Thank you. I made this out of like sparkling water tabs because I don't know. It was like shiny. Ooh. It is your lot in life to suffer. Thing is, it's like it can stress me out. I think especially like before streams. And then if it's happening for like a long time on a stream, then I can be like, oh no. But I also, in the grand scheme of things, don't really care maybe as much as I should. And that's not because I don't want to provide a great program to people, but rather I'm like, I know what my strengths are. And this is not one of them. How many tab earrings do you have? I have this one, and then I have a rainbow one. So that one took a longer time to acquire the tabs because I was like drinking things specifically because I'm like, oh, this has like a pink tab on it. This is gonna go towards my earring, even if I like didn't really care for the thing that I was drinking that much. I was like, this is for the cause. So that's what I do for vanity. All right. So as we've been talking about all of these colonizer projects, that word that we use here a lot, Shakespeare appealing to the colonial projects that James the First of England / the Sixth of Scotland, because he was consolidating these things, these places, against the will of everyone. Not like that was ever taken into consideration, but how this can't be separated from Shakespeare even using this as a point of wanting to show his subservience in many ways to the ruling class, to this particular ruler, and gain favor that once King James became king, that the troop was then called the King's Men. So Shakespeare was like, well, we need to fund our acting and our plays, but it's like, okay, but what is the cost? It's like, we did get some art from it. Some would say some good art, but also, like, at what expense? Because if we are not directly confronting the ruling class and their atrocities with our art, what are we actually doing? Okay, so this scene is pretty short. It is scene 2, and we actually get names for people, so they're probably not the working class. They are people in the army, though. So we have Menteith, Caithness, Angus, and Lennox. Whoops, I used Angus in a different one for creating some of my own names for people in the working class. But now I'm going to have to think of voices. So, let's see. Menteith. Oh wait, first I should read the stage direction. They enter with a drummer and colors, meaning like flags. Menteith.
The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burning them for their dear causes, would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite the mortified man, meaning rouse the insensible and dead man, so using mortified as insensible, but also mort as a way of like mortality, having a double meaning there. Malcolm Angus, Shakespeare's just an AC/DC fan. Maybe he was. Maybe he heard their music and was like, I'm going to incorporate that. Because that happened chronologically, as we all know. Angus. I have to do a different voice than the Angus I named.
Near Burnham Wood, shall we well meet them? That way are they coming.
Caithness.
Who knows if Donalbain be with his brother?
Lennox.
For certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son, and many unrough youths that even now protest their first of manhood.
Footnote, meaning lovers of easy, luxurious living. Protest their first of manhood, so saying like they're protesting having to show their manliness and go to war. Imagine them not wanting to go to war. As we all know, says Spongy. Hello, Dina. Welcome. Glad to have you. How are things with you? And thank you for the good luck. Is that what GL means? That's what I've gathered, what I have assumed. Is that when people say GL, it's good luck? I've just, I haven't looked that up as official. Okay. I'm such a boomer sometimes. I also protest my manliness. You know, as is your right. Especially when it's associated with warfare. Just say GL to any stream. Oh, I love that. That's sweet. And good to know. Yeah, I guess I could have looked it up, but I was just assuming this whole time. Like, I think that's what people mean. That's why you're the goat, Dina. Exactly. Doesn't really make sense in this context, so it's reasonable that you wouldn't know. Well, I mean, they're like, good luck with your technical difficulties. Like, and I do need that, in fact. So thank you. I appreciate it. I'm glad to have you here. Thanks for being here. Okay. Menteith.
What does the tyrant?
Caithness. Great Dunsinane he strongly fortifies. Some say he's mad. Others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury. But for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule, meaning restraint.
Angus.
Now does he feel his secret murder sticking on his hands? Now minutely revolts upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love.
So he's saying that people don't obey Macbeth because they feel a duty to, not because they genuinely like him as a ruler. I used to tell people good luck IRL all the time, and often they would respond with, why would I need luck? As if you can have an overabundance of luck? I mean, yeah, I think that's a good perspective to have. Why would you not want that? Don't reject good luck. As part of my own practices at times, sometimes I engage in good luck spells for other people. Because then I think, you know, we need more of this in the world. And hopefully it goes to someone who is deserving of such. At least that's my intention. Like, I don't want good luck to the ne'er-do-wells. All right.
Now does he feel his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief?
Menteith.
Who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil, and start when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there?
So, like, he knows he shouldn't be ruling, and everyone is rejecting him, including himself. That's how he's talking about Macbeth. Caithness.
Well, march we on, to give obedience where 'tis truly owed. When we meet the medicine, the medicine of the sickly wheel.
The medicine they're calling Malcolm, the next person in line for succession. So is it medicine? They're just following this colonial hierarchical power structure. And the sickly wheel is meaning the state.
And with him pour we in our country's purge each drop of us.
Lennox.
Or so much as it needs, to dew the sovereign flower and drown the weeds.
Make we our march towards Burnham.
Exeunt. Marching. Okay, so they're leaving. So Shakespeare here is trying to say, like, nobody likes Macbeth, not even the soldiers, and they're supposed to, or just do what they're told. And so it's getting a rare insight of people who, at least as far as we know, do not have titles, but they are also not as far down in the working class that they don't have any names at all, which is what is so common. Oh, thanks, Zoop. Thanks, Dina. Like, I need to work on my portfolio of voices, so I have more to pull from. A lot of the time it's like recycled from thing to thing that we are reading, so. All right, shall we play a little bit of Disco Elysium? And then I'll get the fuck out of here. It's a lot of fun. Oh. I mean, I want to provide a diverse set of entertainment. So hopefully I can build upon what I've already done. I took Bouncy's advice. Imagine this, like writing down, recording what you have done and said to remember it. And I did that with some of the voices of like descriptions of how they sound. So, okay, let's see if I can get this up and running. Tetra, is that what you call 8-bit? Good to know. I can refer to you as Tetra as well, if that is what you would prefer. Yes, I go by Tetra. Okay, sorry about that. All right. Shall we continue? Loading the game. Did I actually save it? Okay, yeah, that's where we left. Load. Because I like to read everything that comes on the screen, when there are things that load and it's like a little fact, and then it loads it too quickly for me to read the whole thing, I'm like, but, I wanted to see what that was. So could I fit more acronyms into a sentence? Thank you for having CCs, by the way. Yes, Zoop helped me with the captions. It's something that I had been wanting to do for a while, and then I got stuck at one step, and I was like looking things up, and I don't think I was wording it very well in the way that my brain works, and Zoop was very kind and helped me through these steps. I really appreciate it. Into a sentence, even. Okay, so we talked to this supremacist. Oh, and we can't get past him, though. I guess we could try to get to this box. If we just hopped the fence. Do we have to internalize his race theory in order to get past him? Nice when people are open to it. No, it's something that I was wanting to do for a while, and I just deeply felt my inadequacies. I'm like, I think I didn't even really know what I needed to be looking up in the first place, of like how to phrase things. Can we not get in there? Huh? Oh, there's money up there. We need money. Don't we all? Okay, so that's not working. Well, yeah, we love Zoop. We do love Zoop. I hope you're able to rest today, Zoop. Do you like help? Possibly. I may look around a little bit more. Just to see, is there a way over here? Is that more money? Oh no, that's a bottle. We don't need that. That's not helping us, especially in the current state. If you ever want to set up an on-screen chat with pronouns, I'm willing to help. Oh, thank you, Dina. I would love that. That would be incredible. Yeah, just let me know like what the best like avenue for doing that would be. Am I going too far? Okay, so we came from there. Oh.
Before you stands a motor carriage. The bodywork is covered in blue and white livery, bearing the number 57.
Okay, 57.
The computer touching channel and Dina's Discord is leaking out into the world.
I mean, I need more of that. I will warn you, the experience will probably be like you're talking to a grandparent and walking through certain things. It doesn't mean I don't want to learn. I just, can take a bit to comprehend. Should set up pronouns. I know, it sounds awesome.
From the large engine on the back of the vehicle. It hasn't had time to cool off yet.
Okay.
This must be the infernal machine that tore you from oblivion. The Caprice Kinema motor carriage.
Okay, I'll open the door.
In the cabin, you are welcomed by a set of steering levers, a radio microphone on a hook, a pull-out toolbox under the seat, and the soft glow of the fuel preheater gauge.
Pick up the
The
radio.
frequency tableau lights up, and the green button labeled Prime Line glows like a feline eye. And then you hear something. The
What do we
soft
hear?
purr of electrical kittens. Radio waves cast far and wide.
I like the
over
sound of that.
metropolis. A woman's voice greets you through the static.
This is Precinct 57. Hello, Lieutenant. How may I assist you?
Hello, Alice. Please assist our colleague from the 41st
Oh.
precinct here. I'm
Okay.
putting him on.
So this was the police vehicle. Teeny! Speaking of kittens! Welcome! Come here. We'll see if she hops up here. The dialogue in this game gives such tabletop game vibes. To be honest, I haven't played a whole lot of tabletop games, but I agree. Okay, come in, dispatch. Firewalker. Oh, we did think that was... We did think that was our name. He did. Nice to meet you. I mean, that's what I would normally say, but I think we probably already know her. If I were a choir director and I needed people to reach some higher notes, I would just pull out a cat. I think that's fair.
This is Officer Alice Demetri.
I'd also
Precinct
pull out
57.
this cat.
How may I assist
I
you?
would volunteer. How may I assist you? Oh yeah, well, people probably don't like you. That's why. Need you to connect me to a civilian. Oh, maybe I should have done this earlier. That might have helped.
What is the number, officer?
Yes, hold on. Her number
Okay,
is
Sylvie's number.
005 1944 298.
Okay, thank you.
Hold on, officer.
Yeah, it seems like we're pretty... Our character's pretty abysmal. Okay. Do we slap it? It's not usually my go-to.
Lieutenant Kitsuragi slowly begins to tap a little rhythm with his right foot.
Okay,
Quite
so
a
I guess I
little.
should have slapped it.
Officer, I have Sylvie Malaika on the line for you.
Did you run into the bookstore child yet? No.
Yes, hello?
Sounds like she's a million miles away from here.
Hello, this is the police calling.
I believe we've met before. This is me, a detective. Okay. That delivery is a bit weird. I mean, it all is weird. Zero sugar. Dr. Pepper spotted. Is there anything you don't have good taste in? Probably electronics. It's very kind of you to say. I'm very flattered. Honestly, Dr. Pepper, besides, like, you know, being one of the more, I mean, are corporations ethical? No. But they aren't as involved in some heinous things as far as we know of. They have some of the best diet sodas, I have to say. Okay. Maybe we don't want to weird her out. I guess she's already weirded out.
Hello, officer. What can I do for you?
You can hear resentment in her tone. She's not thrilled to be talking to you again.
Yeah, no one should. No one should be. This is understandable. I hope she was the one that was writing, like, ACAB or fuck the police around here. I mean, it was probably many people. Was it you who called the police?
You mean, why did I leave
You quit
the
your
bar?
job?
Honestly, I'm not really comfortable discussing it with you, sir.
Dr. Pepper, baby. It's good and nice. Okay, yeah. Seems like she was upset about something, and rightly so. Wait, why aren't you... conclude? I think we still need to talk to her. Ugh. See, I feel like the choices in this game are so hard because I'm like, I would just leave everyone alone if I was a cop.
Let's just say I left because I needed to get away from someone.
That jingle stuck in my fucking head last week. Away from whom?
You know whom.
It's very entertaining to see you morally struggle with it. Like I said, I'm like, if you watch me play a game, I'm probably going to go very slowly. Try to weigh the options.
I hear a sliver of accusation in her words.
Was it him? Was it us? Ugh, I don't want to say that. I don't want to identify with the cop.
Don't be paranoid. She's obviously talking about someone else. Not
Godly failure. You mean me? Okay, let's not push her.
Maybe, I don't know. I just know I have to take some time off right now.
Okay, do what you need to do, Sylvie. I'm sorry. I'm too gamer-pilled, and am quick to pick what the funniest option is. Sorry, gamer. This is an insight into my brain. Is it you who called the police?
No, not me.
Do you know who made that call?
No, sorry. I don't. Not a lot of people have phones around here. Copper thieves take the wires. People don't have the money to have the cables put in again. They use the Union's phone, or the one on the coast.
So the Union has a phone, and there's one further down the coast. Got it.
I don't want to antagonize the Union people either. God damn it.
It was someone else. We'll find them sooner or later, officer.
We have so many tasks. I've only completed like one. Becky. Hi. She came in after her dinner. Okay, I guess I'll say this one.
What? Of course it bothered me. But I thought the Union already knew about the courts.
Is it the Union's job to deal with this? Yeah, what does the Union have to do with anything?
No one calls the police. The Union would get angry.
Well,
you know, what the Union says goes. People listen to them and they take care of their own, which is like everyone here.
well,
Garbage.
Meow. The teenie has arrived. Whoa, we have a lot of options. Wait, Kim, is she speaking the truth? I am the authority around here. Ew. Tell me why exactly did you let a corpse hang in your own backyard for weeks instead of calling us? Juniper making an appearance. She approves of the mic. Cat sighting.
Legally, no. In reality, yes. Martinez is de facto policed by the Dock Workers Union.
Words are not necessary to feel the lieutenant's discontent for the situation.
Yeah, cops wanting ultimate power. Maybe there's something else you can tell me about?
I don't know what to tell you, officer. I didn't call you because I didn't want to get in trouble with the others. With the union. I'm sorry about that.
Don't apologize. Don't apologize. This is my PSA. Don't apologize to cops.
Yeah, go on.
You quit your job at the Whirling. Why? Maybe I'll look at this to get rid of. Yeah, we still need to sing karaoke. And it's at the bottom of our priorities. It's not a theater kid. Do theater kids ever end up as cops? Oh, that would make for quite an insufferable combination. As a theater kid. Why did you quit your job?
You mean, why did I leave the bar? Honestly,
Oh, did I already ask her that?
Not really comfortable.
Why not?
Okay. Sorry to cut you off, Sylvie. Okay, I already asked that. Hello, Stuart Little is my son. Thank you. Hydrating. Hydrate, bitch. Okay. So it looks like I asked the same question. Whoops. He really adopted that mouse. Dina, thank you for the watch streak. Oh, you're the best. I appreciate you.
Maybe.
Okay, I already asked that. Okay, so I clicked out a... I clicked on something that was shadowed. So that explains that. Imagine clues helping you. I think I got everything I need.
I do hope so. Please, don't call me again. Bye.
Okay, sorry. Medium. Wait, why does... It cannot be retried. I guess I do have a high empathy. At least... What do these numbers mean? Morale? Health?
Yes, you have obviously done something to upset her at the Whirling in Rags. When she was
Take a
still
chance on empathy?
I'm not mad, it's just... You were so drunk and so emotional all the time, and then the skua thing happened.
Skua?
Just made me want to quit.
I was wanting me to quit?
Obviously. You were the worst client I've ever seen. And I have seen so many assholes in this place. I've had sailors fighting, union guys grabbing my ass, kids stealing booze. Once a guy was glued to the karaoke machine every night for 2 months. But you...
I want to know what I did.
You were worse than all of them. Honestly, you were getting borderline aggressive.
I'm sorry.
Even about little things like not turning down the volume at 3 a.m. I even liked one of those songs you kept listening to on repeat. No more. I hate it now.
Is this our karaoke song?
We Go On by the O.O. I can't listen to it anymore. You've turned it
Empathy
into a parody.
and karaoke? Okay. I'm listening. Sorry about the song. You should be apologizing for more, bitch.
To hell with that song. Then there was your room. Your project. An experiment to see how bad it can get in there.
Okay.
I tried
Cop
to
shit.
send the cleaner, but you wouldn't let me. Threatened to make me understand. I had no idea what you meant, and I don't want to know.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then you screamed something about how you're actually a real cool guy, and no one understands it. One of the coolest guys there is. The coolest guy in Jamrock. Something about disco, too.
Ugh. Nothing says like you are not the coolest person by constantly declaring yourself as the coolest person. Imagine being all the other orphans at the orphanage seeing a family adopt a mouse over you. I know. That is bleak. To see an orphan fly a plane like Stuart can. Yeah, you know? They're like, they saw him immediately and they were like, you have great potential for aviation. Empathy and karaoke, the hot new indie band, the Hout new indie band. Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
Then I had to deal with your toilet. The one
Oh,
with police documents
Sylvie.
causing water damage downstairs in the kitchen.
What are you hiding? What are we hiding? What is he hiding?
Run around harassing customers, threatening to sing karaoke, threatening to kill yourself.
What?
The ones I had to rent out of your toilet.
Ugh.
Damn it, I don't remember what I did to your damn papers. I don't remember every little thing I do.
Resentment gives way to concern in her voice. No, you can stay resentful.
Especially when there's a hurricane loose. It's your fault for losing them, not mine.
Something in you wants to immediately forget about this, as if there was a reason you threw them away.
Okay, I get it.
No, you really weren't. You were simply the worst.
Yeah. I'm truly sorry for everything. I was trying to show you the world of tomorrow. Ew. The worst tavern wench. What the fuck? All these options.
God, I knew I shouldn't have brought it up. Just try not to call me again, and let's pretend it never happened.
Okay. Guess I have to ask about this.
The stuffed bird, the great skua. You threw it against the wall while screaming, "Fuck that bird," and
That's why
laughing
Gart
like
is so
maniac.
mad. And sail a boat and drive a cherry red Corvette. Don't forget that detail. The color is very important. The family saw him. They're like, you know what? Not blue. It has to be cherry red. Damn orphans can't do shit. I know.
I think you said it had been giving you shit ever since you got there.
Sounds like me, alright. Yeah, you sound like an asshole. Bitch bird. To her. So we're assuming the bird's gender, are we? Why do I always end up screwing everything up? Yeah, that does sound like me.
Didn't seem like you had fun doing it, though.
What else did I sing? Okay, I guess we'll ask
All
this.
sorts of things. From disco, rock too. So much disco and rock. Which one would that be?
She doesn't... I just don't want to engage with anyone as a cop. When that was really sad.
Sad? I think the one you mean is the smallest church in Saint-Saëns. Richard, that
Sanson. Okay. Duh, it matches his little sweater. True. True.
You still have to find it, however.
How foolish of me. Thank you for talking with me. Sorry for traumatizing you.
On the other end of the radio, wordless, the call breaks. Then, the already familiar voice.
Anything else I can help you with, officer?
Could you... Not again. She doesn't need that. Connect to the precinct?
Just a second, officer.
She puts you on hold, the static crackling softly like a bonfire. After a while, you hear an old man greet you from the radio. His rattly voice is oddly familiar.
10-2, 10-5.
So we remembered the men, then?
Over.
That's gay.
A scrawny old man sits in a dusty cubicle, smoking, with a large white rectangle sewn on his vest. In front of him is a box-shaped apparatus with an array of wires and antennas. The radio switchboard.
In many ways, being forced to be a cop in this game is like how we're all forced to be things we don't want to be sometimes. I mean, that is true.
The man uses relay code. You got this. You're a cop, and cops know relay code.
Do we? Okay.
10-4, message received. 10-5, relay message. What's your status? Over.
Just reporting in.
Hype train! Thank you, Stuart Little is my son. Wow! We have 13 subscribers! Thank you! Thank you very much. We're on a level 3 hype train! Thank you! You're the best! Okay, this also deserves some sassy fan work. Ooh! Ooh! Your applause! Yes! Thank you! I'm gonna pull up. Uh-oh. I was gonna pull up a celebration song. Let's see. Thank you very much. That is so kind. Okay. Shall we listen to a... I have a good one. I have a good one on deck. Please hold. Okay, I couldn't remember it for a sec. Do I need to install the ad blocker for this? Because I was using Safari before. And then I switched to Google Chrome. Six amazing hits and one other person. Oh. Oh, did you not get one? How cool estrogen is.
Lemonade, lemonade. Lemonade, lemonade.
Is the audio working?
Lemonade, lemonade.
I love Sophie.
Lemonade, lemonade. Lemonade, lemonade. Lemonade,
I hit my mic.
Lemonade. I got something to tell you. Hope you'll understand. I never meant to hurt you. Wasn't in my hands. It's just that when I'm with you, everything's okay. I get that kissing feeling. Now I'm lemonade. Lemonade, lemonade. Lemonade, lemonade. Lemonade, lemonade.
Lemonade, lemonade.
Candy boys, candy boys.
Okay. This is our celebration. Thank you, Sophie. R.I.P. Sophie. What a legend. Okay, now I'm going to attempt to get back to the game. We'll see if I can manage this, alright? Here you go. Thank you, Stuart Little is my son. Thank you very much. Alright. With our gifted subs and a Sophie song, shall we get back to the game? Stuart Little. Maybe Stuart Little is my son. It's confirmed. Thank you. I see why the choice was made. That difficult choice of adopting little Stuart Little, even. A hype chest. What do we get? A new emote? I don't know how all of this works, but apparently this is unlocked. Cool. Also, the text choo choo was put in there. I did not say that. But I guess I did just now. So, choo choo, bitches. That's cute. A little heart. Thank you for the hype train. Choo choo, bitches. Apparently. They put words in your mouth. I know. I didn't consent to that. But I did consent to submitting it. As we met our sub goal! Incredible. Thank you all for being here, for watching, for subbing, for the gift, Stuart Little.
Den 18, state your message, sir.
Exactly. Choo choo. State your message. Choo choo. I need to report my badge missing. Okay, that is something we need to do.
10-9, over. 10-4, message received. This is a very serious situation. I need to 10-22 the captain. Over.
Okay, we don't know what that means.
What does he want?
Is it him?
Says he lost his badge and needs to report it.
He what? He lost his badge?
Hey, who is
This
this?
is communication officer Jules Pidieux, sir. Over.
No, the
Give me
other
your
one.
partner. Over.
What is he saying?
Oh, that's our partner? Kim isn't our partner?
He's asking who you are.
I'm his goddamn partner.
Uh-oh,
It's
he's
your
mad.
partner, satellite officer Vitmar, sir. Over.
Did he lose his memory along with his fucking badge?
Yes. In fact, we did. He did. Making some very questionable choices.
Who lost his badge?
Chester McLean.
Dick fucking Mullen.
Sounds
Who do you
incredulous. Dick Mullen. That's our name.
It's Officer Dick Mullen from the bestseller Dick Mullen and the Lost Identity.
Then what were we saying? Our subconscious or whatever that was like, our name reminds us of a blaze in the fire, or like in the woods. Is that just wishful thinking? the mask inclination to light things on fire?
Dick Mullen is not your name. It's the name of a fictional detective who would not lose his badge.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Defend yourself. Immediately. They're laughing at you.
Do not question a fellow cop's honor. Tell him to stop.
He says this has probably happened to other policemen before him and laughs sarcastically.
I don't know if that was the move.
Damn it. Is he fucking kidding? The whole station's gonna be dicked for this.
Sounds like you like dick, sir. Just be honest.
Satellite Officer Vikmar is wondering if you might be joking and adds that this tarnishes the reputation of the entire station. Over.
Mullen dicked us.
It sounds like you want it. Just be honest, please. We'll oblige. Well, we're a cop. Maybe not. Can we just move on?
I hear you, officer. I'm just going to make
30
you
experience.
in pursuit of your misplaced badge.
But we get another task. Okay.
Fuck me. Mac, come here. You've got
See,
to
they all want it.
Mullen lost his badge.
What's going on?
Super Cop here lost his badge.
He lost his what now?
I mean, more than the badge.
His badge. He lost his goddamn fucking badge.
Okay. I have other things to discuss.
I didn't get that. Over.
We don't remember what they are, but we're going to discuss it.
New heights even for Captain Sober.
Captain Sober, sense irony here.
Ask him. Ask him if he's lost his gun, too.
Well, I think we did.
Sergeant Orson wants to know if you lost your gun too. Over.
Check your pockets. Check your... Holy fuck. You don't know where it is, do you?
Well, it's not here. I don't have my gun.
Okay, it's gone. Your gun is most definitely gone.
Don't sweat it, Bratan. You don't need a gun to have fun. We can still have fun. It's not all over.
Okay.
10-9, coming officer. Did you get my question? We were wondering about your gun. Over.
Drama. Convince them that you didn't lose your gun. I mean, I don't really care. Say nothing.
10-1, you're breaking up. 10-9, repeat please. Over.
Okay, I guess we try it. You didn't give an answer, so now the chance is lower.
Lying over the phone, it's easy. Just say it like it's the truth, and then it becomes it.
Okay.
He says he didn't.
The depravity continues.
Thank God for that. That would have been a nightmare. I don't even want to imagine the poor prick who has to relay that kind of news to the captain.
Well?
Losing his badge is bad enough. Tell him to find it, and fast. We can't have some gangbanger running around with it.
Well, I think they should.
We're all glad to hear you've not lost your gun, officer.
Even walking with it.
Over.
I've actually lost my gun too. I need financial assistance.
10-4, I hear you. I don't have the authority to grant your request, but...
Line over the phone? It's easy.
What does he want now?
He's asking for money.
He's asking for money.
Is he fucking kidding?
No, you keep asking that. We're not very funny. Track down your gun. Okay. Ugh. We have to make it so the cop is armed.
I don't think he is.
Don't give that asshole anything. He's just gonna drink it all.
Right. That's a negative on the additional funds, sir. Over.
More tasks? I don't know if we're gonna be able to remember this. I guess we're writing some stuff down. What have we done? Okay. 2 things. Okay. Continuing along. A negative on additional funds. Okay.
It's paramount to the investigation.
It's important to the case.
He isn't getting a red cent. You can tell him that.
Request denied, sir. Over.
Okay. I would love to see a cop beg. But I don't know if that's going to get us anywhere. Maybe let's hear him beg.
He says he's in trouble. Doesn't have a place to sleep.
Well, I guess he'd better crack the case before sundown then.
Vigmar said...
Enough, officer. This begging is below your dignity.
I don't know. Okay.
Anything else, sir? Over.
There's personal details.
Okay, 10-4, sir. I hear you. Relay your question. Over.
Wait. Before you say anything stupid, think it through.
That's what I have been doing, I think. I need information, not fear. What's there to think
You're
about?
going to be looking at a straitjacket if you tell everyone you lost your memory. Be smart about this. Ask if he's there alone.
Okay.
10-4, sir. I'm not hearing your question.
Okay, let's do that.
That's a negative, sir. I got a 10-12. Visitors present here. Over.
Okay. Any news about my, family? Name, rank, date of birth. Please refer to me with my full name in the future. Ew. Well. I feel like that's a dead giveaway. Okay, maybe let's do this.
10-9, repeat message. I didn't get that, sir. Over.
Ugh. We are an asshole.
What? What is it? What can he possibly still want from us?
He seems intoxicated and keeps asking me to call him by his name.
Mullen's drunk and emotionally aggressive. That's new.
Isn't it Dick
Wrap
Mullen?
it up. Don't indulge in his drunken antics.
Okay, let's
What?
ask this.
What is it? He's still on the line?
He wants to verify the information on his badge.
But of course, it says Dick Mullen, High General of the Devashrayee Cavalry Force.
Tell him to stop wasting time.
Okay, I guess we could have asked that at the beginning. About my family? I wonder what that will lead to.
You probably don't want to continue on this road.
Nothing, never mind.
Again, sir, I didn't get that. 10-9, over.
Okay, let's stop pestering Jules.
Understood, sir. Over. Roger that.
I'm not telling them I lost my
Over
gun.
And out.
18 kilometers to the south, in the 41st
I would prefer
precinct
to have
relay
this cop stay
A small
unarmed.
crowd has gathered around communication officer Jules Oldboy Pidier, around a dozen cops. The small room is filled with cigarette smoke, abuzz with laughter, when Officer Judith Minnow enters. Her left arm is in bandages, and her hair trimmed short.
What if you used your cop gun to shoot other cops? I hadn't thought of that.
What is going on here? Did something happen?
What happened is my partner made contact, and it's not good. He's lost his badge.
He seemed confused, delirious even.
Mac, the torso Torson, is finger
torso.
his fist, laughing hoarsely and apparently telling some dirty story to his partner, Chester McLean, near the entrance.
Okay.
Yeah, Mullen
Tough
was
guy.
fucked, all right. Sounded fucking drunk to me.
Yeah, Mac's right. This was some gnarly shit there. I mean, before he started begging for money, it was...
Oh, so it's coming up in the story now.
None of this is funny. It's fucking sad. That's what it is. He's a cop. He's one of us, goddamn this.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We must help him.
Quiet firmness to her voice.
Yeah? How do you fucking plan to do that, huh? Get him off the drink? Go jogging with him in the morning and get him on carrot juice? He's a lost man.
I just know we can't give up on him when he's at his weakest. He wouldn't.
Do we have a thing? Seems like it.
Mac, man the door. You know what he told me? I don't want to get better. I want to get worse.
Oh.
Those were his words.
Man.
This shit does not leave this room. Not a word of this to the captain. Or anyone else. We'll give him a couple of days to pull his shit together.
I guess I can hold off the report for a few days.
Old boy lights another cigarette.
Good. Okay, everybody. Nothing but a prank call here. We all got our laughs. Now get back to work.
Far north, on the other side of the motorway, the
I gained
officer
experience.
quietly hunches with his hand in the motor carriage.
Wait. Where am I looking? Okay, I don't know. Far north on this. Okay, we're back to this again. Pull out toolbox.
A metallic drawer slides out from under the seat and clicks into place. The tools inside are neatly organized.
Take what you need, officer. It's going to be a long case. I'm not protective of my tools, like some men are.
Oh, this is your car. Did we learn that earlier?
He's clearly a little protective of his tools.
Yeah.
But what can you do? Work is work.
Okay, I think we need a flashlight. The pry bar, chain cutters. I think we do need the chain cutters, because although we did make a hole. Pry bar? Oh boy. How about the pry bar?
The pry bar feels nice and cold in your hand, heavier than you'd think. Useful for opening all sorts of doors and lids.
Oh, we can take multiple things? Okay.
The handles are long and sleek. Snap, snap, go the cutters in your hand. It's
Okay,
robust,
flashlight. Guess we'll take it all.
and well made. Police issue, blue. Lets you see things in the dark you would otherwise miss. The pull-out toolbox slides back into its nest. Preheater gauge casts a warm glow on the steering levers and the radio on its hook.
Your fingers over one of the
The
steering
white suede
levers.
feels luxurious under the touch, and the metal clutch handle so very familiar in your palm.
Okay. Okay,
As you tap on the
preheater gauge.
the indicator pin jerks as if startled. It's in the large orange sector, indicating the engine is warm. Next to the gauge is a red switch labeled heat.
Yeah, that doesn't seem good.
There's no use pressing the heat button. It won't start without the ignition key.
Translation: we're not going anywhere right now. Alternative translation: don't even think you can drive my MC.
Okay. Why would we pick up the radio again? Close the door and leave? I guess so. What did he share, P-Gap?
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Okay. Honestly, I think that's all I have time for today. But I'm gonna save this. Oh, it auto-saved. Thank God. Alright. Thank you all for being here. Wait, how do I exit out of this again? Let's see. Okay, if we can do a cute little raid. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for the gifted subs. Thank you for your lovely company. I appreciate you all. Is there anyone on right now that you all know of? I'm like, it's my phone. Looking for notifications for people. So I'm dropping everything. Oh, Brit Griff is on. They've been streaming more lately. Shall we do a cute little stream for them? They're playing Marvel Rivals. All right. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all. I hope you have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you are. And I will see you soon. Go behave yourselves. Okay, bye.